Alright, radio check. Are we live? Yes, we are live. In final preparations, let's get this show on the road. Alright, so I was running some tests, but we should be ready and live now to begin talking. Alright, and welcome everybody to the TOGA Motorsport 24 in 2.4 Championship, where a 24-hour race is simulated with accelerated time in 2 hours and 24 minutes. And this is round 2 of the championship here at Suzuka. Our first round at Spa-Francorchamps was a very exciting one, with the positions moving all over the place. The entire race, position switches all over the grid. And I'm hoping now, here at Suzuka, we can have the same level of excitement and racing as we did at Spa. Oh, is that just swapped to my desktop? That's awkward. Ignore that. Have me some... I'm choking. What was I about to say? It's only the practice session. Still have some people to get onto the stream in some coming moments, but for now it is the practice session after all. Currently in our practice, one of our race leaders from last race, Alexander Kuzmin, seems to have switched cars from the McLaren to the Lamborghini, and has so far set a 2-minute 2-second .7 in the Lamborghini. And already in our practice session we have a new best lap, Chico Lentvar in the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 with a lap time... Oh, and that's just been bested again by Alexander Kuzmin, the number 998 Lamborghini, with a lap time of 2 minutes, 1 second, and 4 tenths. It'll be really tough to top some of these top times here. And another of our leaders from last week, Pavel Gunin, still in the McLaren, running the number 5 720S. I can't tell. Is that the Evo package or is it? Ah, yeah, that looks like the Evo package to me. With a 2 minute 1 second .3 barely faster than the Lamborghini, currently sitting P2 in free practice. It looks like some of our Lamborghinis are going to top a lot of these McLarens, and even this Audi as well. See, we have some really quick lap times. Now, 3 of our top 4 cars are not McLarens, which has seemed to have dominated Spa last week. But it seems things have changed up, and now we have more variety up in the top running car. Oh! Big crash from the number 79 Audi. And he's back into the pits. We're about to get into our qualifying session. Believe it is 20 minutes long. It's going to be a packed track out there. If I get some numbers going into the qualifying session, it seems we have 30 cars that will start the race, which honestly isn't terrible. I know last time we had I believe over 40 drivers for our first round, but it seems a lot of drivers have pulled out of the championship, and now we have smaller grid, ever so slightly smaller track though. I believe our last car of the session's about to cross the line to end the practice session and get the qualifying session underway. And our qualifying session is underway, I believe. Cars already headed out of the pit, starting with Owen Cripps in the number 3 Ferrari, closely being followed by This Payne in the 43 McLaren. Looks like some of these cars exiting in front are going to have an advantage in the opening stages of qualifying. The thing about exiting the pits at the beginning of the qualifying session is you want to get out quickly, but you also don't want to get out not quick enough to end up being bunched up with these other cars. That really does end up being a struggle in... Oh, I just realized I have not downloaded the deliveries, actually. Very sorry, I'm actually going to go do that right now, so... Our stream is going to go... Well, the stream will stay live, but I've just got to exit the track really quick while I download the liveries. It will be very fast, I promise. Let's get that out of the way. And go to our livery sync. I'm so sorry, I completely forgot about that. Liveries, nope, it's in my count, my collections. It's not the collection I want. They do make this very complicated. You have to go through all kinds of different paths. It's quite the hassle, but it kind of just has to happen to get everything downloaded. Aha, there it is. So follow the collection and sync our liveries. And see it. Oh, So we can see it's going through them, and we will be right back into the qualifying session in a matter of moments. And sync is complete. Let's get right back into the server. No more delays, no more mess ups. Let's get this show right back onto the road. And we are back. Seems nobody has set a valid qualifying lap yet, as everybody is still on their first laps. Looks like Owen's got very clear air in front of him. Nobody in front of him. I think he's going to have a very good opening lap here. Just coming down the final corner, about to set the first valid lap of our qualifying session. Or maybe it wasn't valid. And we have our first valid lap of the session. And more valid laps this session. And already we have times almost making it into the 1 minute and 59 second field. It looks like one car, our current second place hitter. Oh, I'm not on the right HUD. There we go. Our second place runner, Pavel Gunin. Looks like he's had a little moment, or he's just trying to get behind some cars to give himself some space. Pretty smart strategy considering just how stressful it can be when you are right next to other cars, so trying to set the fastest lap you can at the same time. Now, currently sitting P1 at the opening stages of qualifying is Alexander Kuzmin, running the number 998 Lamborghini. It looks like there's still more than plenty of McLarens in the top running cars, but toppling them could very well be the number 998 Lamborghini and the number 79 Audi, currently being run by Chico Lentvar. I believe that is our only Audi on the grid. Let me double check. Yes, it is. One Audi, and it's showing strong performance at the moment. And following very closely is Chris Tedder in the number 2 McLaren. Oh, and we have a new fastest qualifying lap set by Owen Cripps in the number 3 Ferrari. It seems after an Seems after an unfortunate race result at Spa-Francorchamps, following being just kind of a passenger in somebody else's mistake. Looks like Team Engfors is looking at making up for that in this race here. And I don't think Owen's going to go down without a fight. We could see a very close battle in qualifying between Cripps and Kuzmin running a Lamborghini. Both cars with invalid laps, both the Ferrari and the Lamborghini in the top 2 positions. As far as track battles go, there really aren't a ton of... There isn't much going on. As we hop onto the valid lap of Chris Tedder in the number 2 McLaren. Just coming through the last couple corners, the last chicane at Suzuka, and through that final bend, and down the hill, about to set the... I believe he's about to increase his... Yep, he's increasing his gap from P4. He's come off track, looks like he's gonna go to pits and get ready for a second qualifying stint. And he's out already. More cars looking at setting fast qualifying laps. We have Jason Pooley in the 101 Ferrari coming through the chicane here and again down the hill. And he's down and across the line with a stellar qualifying lap, putting him in P5 ahead of the number 79 Audi. If we hop onto our helicopter cam here, it looks like as though Gunin and Kuzmin are very close here in qualifying. Gunin on a valid lap as well as Kuzmin. Gunin is on a faster lap, negative delta. I think we could be seeing some other cars besides the Ferrari going for a 159 here. Takes a lot of curb and he's wide and into the wall. Both cars, both P2 and 3 in quali. Now back inside of the pits. If we hop aboard Ryan O'Sullivan in the number 14 Lamborghini, coming through this wide bend before going over that bridge. About right on the same time as his previous lap. Current session best of a 2 minute 1 second, almost into the 2 minutes flat. Whether he'll be able to break into the 2-0 is a mystery, but there's still... Oh, and he's into the pits. And it looks like we have another good lap going, possibly from Owen Cripps here. Delta almost equal as his current best lap. Looking to increase his gap from Gunin and Kuzmin in both McLaren and Lamborghini respectively. It's like a very much more variety-rich front-running grid than Spa. As far as I'm aware, the McLaren is a pretty easy car to drive, and it's OP at Spa-Francorchamps. But it looks like Suzuka might get toppled by some other vehicles, as now our top 5 is only 2 McLarens, now with 2 Ferraris and a Lamborghini, with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in qualifying. Looks like Owen Cripps has lost a 10th through that corner before the bridge. Going into, I believe that's 130R. Yep, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I should really pull up a track map for myself so that I get the corner names correct. as of course, last time I was commentating, that was definitely a struggle. I had somebody teaching me how to say almost every corner name at Spa-Francorchamps. I don't know how, but I managed to mispronounce so many things. But enough about that. We have more laps to watch. It looks like Kiko Gallo in the triple for McLaren is on a faster lap than his best of... It's not telling me... Oh man, it's not telling me it. There we go. Yep, Kiko Gallo's fastest lap currently is a 2-minute flat 0.5. So I guess not flat, but right there. 2:00.5. And already 2/10 faster than that best lap. Looks like he could be propelling himself into P4, or if he's fast enough, possibly even P3 ahead of the Lamborghini of Kuzmin. If I go to my racing circuits .info really quick, I'm going to get all the corner names really quick so that I don't mess them up. Oh, that is awkward. The first corner is just called first corner and the last corner is just called last curve. I can't really say that's the best naming of corners, but it's easy to remember. First corner is first corner and last curve is last curve. As far as the qualifying laps are concerned, it looks like I was correct about Kiko Gallo. He's now set a lap for P3, only 1/10 behind the current pole lap set by Cripps. But it looks like Gunin's looking at coming back from that to take that P3 or even P2. As he's now 2/10 faster than his own best lap. He could take pole on this lap with 4 minutes to go. But even despite this, Owen as well, also with a lap below his current best. Gunin's giving the BMW ahead of Flash, saying, "Let me by, I'm on a faster lap." '93 needs to get out of the way. Gunin now 6/10 faster than his best. Oh, it looks like he's lost a little bit of time, but still very much. And he's about to cross the line. And we have a new pole-setting lap, a 1:59.9. Just half a tenth faster than Cripps. Cripps also below his delta, coming through last curve. Yeah, last curve. Cross the line, and another new pole lap, a 1:59.4. And that looks like it's going to be his last lap as he's stopped on the side of the circuit, now sitting in the pit box. Brilliant lap. Oh, it looks like Gunin's also had a mess up. Hop aboard our current P3 lap. The number 9 under 98 Lamborghini again, driven by Alexander Kuzmin. Oh! More mishaps. And many of them involving that 93 BMW of Juan Martins. That That one BMW might have cost three potent. Oh, and it looks like Jason Pulley's wrecked off the track. Has to make way for that McLaren. And he gets back going again. Lots of drama in the closing stages of qualifying. Laps impeded, laps messed up. Possibly, we could be looking at... I believe if Gunnen's lap was not messed up by a slower car, he could have been pole just ahead of Cripps. If we hop aboard Giorgio Brioschi in the number 144 Ferrari, looks like he's on a valid lap, going for currently sitting P5, but definitely will be aiming for that P4 spot. Currently 1/10 faster than his best lap. Could be looking at a pretty strong one coming through the next final few corners. Goes through the spoon curve and down the back stretch. Now 2/10 faster than his best lap. But it's going to have to be about 4/10 faster if he wants to take that P4 spot from Kiko Gallo. Heavy on the brakes into the chicane. And through the last curve. Down the hill. 3/10 faster. Time increasing. Going for it. And across the line. Still sitting P5. Only 1/100th slower than the P4 lap. Brilliant lap time. Just has to be... Looks like he still has one more lap. Will he set the P4 lap or possibly get onto the qualifying podium and start P3? And here he comes now through Danger. Heavy corner, heavy brakes. Coming under the bridge. Uphill into the hairpin. Very, very quick lap already. Already about 3/10 faster than the last lap. He could be looking at P2 even if he can keep his head in the game. It's going to be a very quick lap from him. 3/10 faster, 3.5 faster. Good acceleration out of that corner there. About 4/10 faster now. Almost invalidated it, but still stays in the game. Now through 130R. Nicely over the curb and over those curbs. Heavy braking into the chicane. Over it and over the next one and quickly down the hill. 4/10 faster now. We could be looking at a P2 lap. Brilliant lap. That puts Brioschi in P2 just behind Owen Cripps. Starting on the front row. Brilliant qualifying lap. Looks like we're going to return to garage while this thing gets all sorted out. So the server should be resetting itself. Alright. And here we are entering the race session. Yeah, no, seeing that Windows home menu pop up is pretty annoying, admittedly, but it's just to tab out and get back into my software. Trying to debate what view I should use. This isn't quite the same as Spa, the places the camera is. So it looks like we'll be hopping on the Helicam and going down the grid. And currently in starting first is Owen Cripps in the number 3 Ferrari, followed by Brioche in the number 144, completing our front row. Now down to our second row, we have a McLaren and a Lamborghini driven by Goonen and Kuzmin, our top two battlers at Spa-Francorchamps. And then our third row, two McLarens driven by Kiko Gallo and Chris Tedder. And then our fourth row, we have Jason Pooley in the number 101 Ferrari, and Stevenella in the 242 McLaren. And continuing down the grid, we have Lenzoni in P9, Blay in P10, Lentvar 11th in the Audi, Ryan O'Sullivan in 12th place in the number 14 Lamborghini, Alakwa in the McLaren, Puharev in a McLaren, we have Syme in a Mercedes-Benz. Oh, that's McCutcheon in the number 888 Ferrari. Then we have David Slater in the 43 McLaren, P18, Justin Hoffman. Then P19, Winnie Tilak. 20th is Matthew Hughes in the Bentley. Colm Mooney in the McLaren P21. Juan Martins in P22. George Stevens, 23rd. Brandon Draws, 24th. And then further back into the grid, we have Marco von Kidrowski in 25th. Wolfgang Kuhn in 26th. Gerardo Rodriguez in 27th. 28th. Kavindu Rasanana. Sorry if I get any of these names wrong. I'm just going down the grid. Have Daryl Longer Name in 29th. 30th, Nirosh Yeshan, and in the back completing our grid, last but not least, Nuwan Harshana in the Lamborghini. And we have our cars going off for the formation lap. Oh, looks like they're already fighting for the lead on the formation lap. Cars inside of each other, ghosting through each other. It's very spooky because it is Halloween season after all. I mean, right guys? It's ghost cars. Yeah, very close bunched up 3 cars here. All looking at taking the lead. It's kind of hard to go through the grid when everybody's out of position. I'm not sure if that's a thing with ACC, different drivers having different like green zones on the formation lap, or if that's just the drivers trying to heat their brakes up, get the tires heated, get the brakes heated. I can say there are more than plenty of different strategies for going about warming the tires before the opening lap of the race. Some drivers weave around the circuit, some hold the brakes and the acceleration at the same time. I could be wrong, but some few might actually take the acceleration very quick, but then slam brakes every so often. There's all sorts of different ways of doing it, and honestly, to each and every one of the drivers their own, if that is even the correct terminology. Best not dive into specifics there. And our formation lap is coming through the spoon curve. In just a little bit, we'll see the cars go side by side on the formation, probably down this straight here above the bridge, so that the entire queue has time to catch up and bunch together. And it looks like we have drivers doing that now. Further through the grid. Maybe not yet. Yeah, we have a really extensive grid of 31 cars, none of them starting from the pits, so at least that's good. We'll have a lot of fruitful battles through the first... Oh, and all the cars are bunching up together now, ghosting through each other. It looks like we have a straggler trying to catch up before the green light. Quickly through 130R, going back to his position through the chicane right before race start. I have to say, Von Kidrowski's running a very interesting livery. Seemingly lots of characters on there, but enough about that. The race is about to get underway. Slowly. And it's lights out, and away we go. Cars already into each other. Cars bumping each other into. Oh! And it's chaos before the first corner. Cars off the circuit. Already we have our leading cars. Madness on the track. Lots of... There's no way that's not going to be a red flag. But if it's not a red flag, it looks like we have a very obvious benefiter through all of the madness. It's Pavel Gunin. I can't tell if they're slowing... looks like they're slowing down. Yep, all the cars are slowing down. It looks like we have a red flag situation. Going to try and find what on earth happened. If we go back 60 seconds through the replay, it looks like we have cars just being very impatient. Cars hitting each other. Some number of unsafe rejoins causing more collisions, and it's just a bowling alley after those first corners. Cars into each other. That is just a mess of a race start. By no standards should that be an acceptable race start ever. What on earth? Soon as this replay catches itself back up, we will be back onto the live feed. Cars slowly making their way back to pit lane, while the stewards in their power try to sort everything out. I'm really not sure what the deal is, because if I believe this was mentioned in the race briefing, which it wasn't live stream, but it was definitely mentioned in the race briefing. that the race would be post-race stewarding. So I'm curious how we're working out to race start penalties is going to go. Even more curiously, who initiated the red flag, because it doesn't look like anybody is live stewarding this. Just a mess of a race start, though. Very disappointing. Wait, is this thing even on? Okay, yeah, it's definitely on. My bad. That's gonna go through the desktop audio, and you can hear my beautiful voice again! Hooray! So it looks like we are preparing for the race restart. I'm very unsure if any penalties will be handed out or if the replay will be looked at after the race. It's really disappointing though sometimes when there's no live stewards present, racing standards go right out the window, and what should be a clean race turns into demolition derby, which these cars are obviously not built for, and neither are the circuits. So hopefully this last restart goes alright for all of the drivers, and we will be able to get this race underway. Still have another minute and 10 seconds before the race starts. Hopefully we can have a clean race restart and nobody gets completely collected. Cars getting their last setup preparations. Oh, I probably need to restart that. Would be a good idea, but yep. Cars preparing their last setup adjustments, getting their pressures set, lights on, and ready to start the second formation lap. Apologies if my microphone's picking up my keyboard. I can't say OBS's noise suppression is the greatest. It's not quite like Discord's, unfortunately. I should probably unmute desktop audio too. Maybe. I'm trying to work out a lot of things here just all at once. so hopefully I've actually got it right myself this time, just like the rest of the drivers on the grid. It looks like the race now will be starting at night, which will be interesting. One race restart can certainly mean a very massive offset in the race starting time in-game. And it looks like there's a question. Did you guys update the liveries? I actually downloaded the liveries for the 24 and 2.4 championship during the qualifying session, so I think that's about as updated as they will get. Once again, we have our formation lap going. It's definitely going. But yeah, with the time and also temperature offset following the restart, there could be a lot of mishaps with some tire pressure strategies, which can definitely impact performance depending on whether the track gets cooler or hotter. In this case, cooler, so we could be seeing some cars with the tire pressure being too little than it should. And a quick question for chat, is all the audio working alright? Because I noticed on OBS I had my desktop audio muted, which is required for noise to come through ACC to the live stream. But hopefully it is actually sorted now, and we will have a fully functioning stream. It looks like we'll be having the race starting and ending both in the dark, with an in-game time of about to be 6:45 p.m. as all of our cars here catch up with the race starting queue coming through the chicane. And coming down the hill through the last bend here down the hill. Once again, a very sluggish start to watch until it goes green. We have all of our drivers about to get underway, coming through that corner, all in the finishing stretch, and it's lights out and away we go. Cars again. Looks like we could be 3 wide here going into the first corner. Looks like a lot more respect for each other, as it seems our cars come through pretty nicely, and we've had a change in lead already. Palvagunen coming from, I believe, P3. Now in P1, ahead of Cripps and Brioche, who started on the front row of the grid. Could we see another case of McLaren domination? Looks like so far, all of our cars have made it through the first sector. Almost no yellow flags reported, it seems. Everybody being very, very mindful of each other. And as the last of the cars come through the first sector, the live timing updates itself, and now we have a viewable report of cars and what positions they are in. It looks like Gunen's running away with this quite nicely now already. 7/10 ahead of our pole lap setter. So it might, depending on setups and strategy, he could be losing some time through the back stretch, as the Ferraris both get the draft on the McLaren coming in 4/10 behind. This is going to be heavy braking into the chicane. Giorgio Brioche closely following Cripps through the chicane and down the hill. There could be some interesting chases coming through these corners here. Brioche has a look at the inside, but decides to stay in his line. Not enough of a heavy braking zone for a dive bomb, which honestly I wouldn't suggest dive bombing anyway, but here we go into our second lap. Goonen maintaining a 0.08 gap ahead of P2 here. And already into the night stages of the race, we have Pavel Goonen sitting P1, 6/10 ahead of Cripps, is 8/10 ahead of Brioche. Oh, it looks like the McLarens had a little bump, might have lost some time there. Coming through the hairpin, closely followed by both of the Ferraris. And all of the cars run off again after the hairpin. It's really interesting how some of these corners end up working themselves out. It looks like we have a close battle for P6. We have number 10 chasing down 444 for P6. Very closely through the spoon curve. All trying to get the best run possible down the back stretch here. Number 10 getting the draft on 444. Wanting to take a look at the inside through 130R. And they're side by side into the chicane, almost touching each other, but goes, oh, 444 goes through the corner. He might pick up a warning there for track limits. That's definitely an advantage gained by cutting the track. That has to be a warning. And it looks like we have a fastest lap of the session set by the number 5 McLaren of Goonen with a race lap time of 2:09. Very brilliant lap. Looks like these McLarens are still having at it. Pretty big train of cars here. Massive. Oh, it looks like we have a McLaren that's run wide, now losing position to a blue McLaren. Stefanella drops down to P9. Looks like he's out of the battle for P6. And now it's just... oh, it looks like there's been an incident on track. Cars run wide. Let's see. Let's play the replay. It looks like... from the number 101 Ferrari's perspective, it looks like 2 McLarens have had a spin. They've taken each other out. Yeah, that blue Ferrari is... no, that's not the blue Ferrari. My apologies. I'm trying to find which Ferrari that was that crashed out there. Yeah, that hurts for Blade. That is a massive drop from battling for top 10 all the way down to 28th. That is not good for Blade. It is still the opening stages of the race, still 2 hours and 17 minutes to go. Anything still can happen. Though Stefan Blais is going to have massive car damage, now being overtaken by some other undamaged, possibly undamaged cars. If we head back to our battle here. It looks like Gallo and Lanzoni are still battling it out for that P6 position. As far as Suzuka goes, there are some interesting overtaking opportunities. Mostly in the straights, as one might expect. But if you're tactful enough, you might be able to squeeze and overtake through the curves in Sector 1, or possibly even through this hairpin. Although, going for an overtake through that hairpin can also easily lead to disaster for both cars involved, the overtaker and the overtaken, as we have just seen with the blue McLaren of Stefan Blay. It looks like, the number 10's made a move on the inside of the spoon curve and is now overtaken Kiko Gallo for P6. Gallo now is going to definitely be trying to make a move through 130R, and it's going to be both vehicles heavy braking into the hairpin. Not much of an overtake attempt though from Gallo, as it seems he has the long run of the race in mind, still with 2 hours and 15 minutes left to go. And as our time goes on, more gaps are forming. It looks like we have a battle for P13 between the Bentley of Matthew Hughes, closely followed by the number 51 McLaren. Less than a second away. Oh, and he's tapped the Bentley off the circuit. He's gonna need. Is he gonna give that position back? All right. He gives the position back. Fair play to Tilak. Good sportsmanship after a little tap off of the track. And the race continues for the battle for P13. 1 Bentley and 2 McLarens. Coming through the S. No, that's not the S's. They're about to come under the bridge here and into the hairpin. Tilak might make another ambitious move again, 0.2 seconds behind. Still stays behind, being very careful not to bump the car, but coming on the outside of this wide bend here. And the Bentley stays ahead, though it looks like Tilak's being challenged by Lacqua. This might be a better battle to watch from the helicam, as there's so much car movement going on here that it's not enough to pick up from the ground cameras. And Lacqua makes a move on the inside into 130R. Oh! And Tilak's gone wide. Looks like he's looks like he tapped the grass and messed up into the corner. Now out of the fight, but still maintaining P15 now. Now that gives Lacqua a chance to fight the Bentley for P13. We're headed into our 6th lap of the race. Already into the night stages. Does not feel like 6 laps. Lots of fighting going on here. McLaren tries to make a move, but isn't able to make it. Still stays very closely behind the Bentley though. Into this bend. What's the corner name again? I guess we'll just call it Danger, because that's what racingcircuits.info says, so we'll go with that. The McLaren gets a significantly better run than the Bentley here. Coming on the outside, inside of the hairpin, and he makes a move past the Bentley for P13. on the inside of the hairpin. Brilliant move. And it looks like Alakwa is going to stay ahead of the Bentley. If we revisit our lead car, he is now about 2 seconds ahead of P2. If Goonan can get his... oh, it looks like there's... oh, massive incident for Chris Tedder. Let's see what happened. Looks like a massive incident down the pit stretch. Oh, it looks rather self-inflicted. Oh, he just ran a little bit too wide and spun himself out. And now he's further back in the grid. P8 battling against P7 and 6 now. He's definitely going to be wanting to make those positions up. And it looks like we have landed right in a great battle. Kiko Gallo is chasing down Michael Syme for P6. Looks like the Merc doesn't get as good of a run out of this corner as the McLarens do. There's now soft braking and heavy braking through Danger, right? Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't worry so much about corner names. We're gonna have a lot of moves attempting to be made through the hairpin, though. Positions staying relatively the same, though it looks like a possible overtake opportunity could be right here between Ryan O'Sullivan and Vladimir Purev. McLaren and Lamborghini here. Oh, and the McLaren's wide. Though he closes the door on Sullivan. O'Sullivan's gonna have a pretty good run down the back stretch here. Looks like he peaks on the outside, then the inside of 130R. It looks like he went for it, but had to back out as the McLaren just closed the door on him. And now it's not as good of a run out of that corner now as O'Sullivan probably hoped. 2 hours 9 minutes left into the race. Still more than plenty of time for moves to be made and positions to be taken. Looks like Slater's trying to make a move on Tedder through some of these corners here. Oh, and it looks like there's been an incident on track for Alexander Kuzmin. What's happened to him? Looks like he's coming out of a high-speed corner and just spins himself out. McLaren barely avoiding him. Suzuka is certainly a rough track, and if you can't get every single corner perfect, your race could end in disaster. Not so much for Kuzmin, still sitting P5, but losing a colossal amount of time in that spin. It appears after the race restart, there's been a lot nicer racing between all of these cars. However, for the top 2 cars, it looks like Owen's now catching up to Pavel Goonan. Looks like P1, 2, and 3 all collectively are now caught back up to the McLaren. Owen's going to try and make a move. He has to draft down the pit stretch, has a look on the inside, and he's making the overtake, closes the door on Goonan, and takes the normal racing line, and Cripps is through for the overtake. P1, Owen Cripps. Changing lead now. Ryoshi is going to be chasing down Goonan as well. Goonan certainly is not going to go down without a fight here. Has a look at the inside, attacking Owen. Oh, they made contact. 2 taps, both cars, and the McLaren's taking the lead again. Very close battling here for the top 3 positions. Pavel Goonan, Owen Cripps, and... oh, that's not it. Giorgio... oh my goodness. Giorgio Brioche. I'll just say last names, because I think I have them down. Owen looking at another move down the inside of this long bend. On the outside of the spoon though. Oh, and he's made the overtake again. Another shift in lead. These top 2 cars are battling it out for the lead still this early into the race. Taking any risks necessary for the lead position. And coming heavy into R130R, heavy turning, McLaren on the outside of the chicane. All these cars very closely bunched up together. Coming down the pit stretch, now the McLaren's going to have the advantage down here. And it looks like Owen's making himself a much wider car than Goonan wants. Making an overtake very much not optimal. And now it's going to be a nice train P1, 2, and 3 through these Sector 1 curves. McLaren looking at any opportunity he can get through these corners. Any open window he can find, he will take. Looks on the inside, but isn't able to take that window as Owen closes it immediately. And coming into Danger before the bridge. All cars taking it wide for as good of a run into the hairpin as possible. Pavel Goonan now seemingly losing time on the Ferrari in front, with the Ferrari behind beginning to catch. Now having a run down this wide corner here. Coming into the spoon, it looks like the McLaren's falling way behind. And Owen has run wide. It looks like he's not going to have as good of a run through the back stretches. Hoped. Alright. Oh, looks like a message in chat. Goonan's just having fun. It looked possible teammate? Is this a teammate of Goonan's in chat here? Yeah, he's currently sitting P2 just behind Owen. Still being fought by the Ferrari behind, and fighting for P1 Ferrari in front. Through the curves here, once again. Looks like he's going to try to catch right back up to Owen through these corners here. Getting very close. Still not able to quite yet be within the range to make any moves. It's like he tries for a heavy run out of Danger and coming into the hairpin here. Owen still fighting to stay ahead, currently 6/10 ahead of Goonan. This must be very stressful for Owen, to be racing with the McLaren still remaining very, very close behind. As the race drags on, we could be seeing in due time some back markers. Oh, and it looks like we've had a spin on the track. Car number 34, Brandon Draws. Oh, an unsafe rejoin. Disaster for multiple cars. George Stevens, negotiation. Cars all over the circuit. Oh! Looks like at first it was a spin into the wall. And then trying to back off the track, and then oh, looks like he's and right into these cars here. It's disaster here for all of these cars. Where has that landed everybody else involved? And it's George Stevens in the pits now. That is an awful incident. Multiple cars. Oh, and it looks like Gunin's now having trouble here on track. Now losing more positions. Now in P4 following a spin. Looks like he lost P2 and then trying to attack just lost it. Very quickly able to get himself straight back onto the track as quickly and safely as possible. Oh, that's just disaster for him. And it looks like he's just had to return to pits. It looks like his tires have just died. Lots of incidents now happening on track. Lots of shifts in battles and everything on track. Now it looks like we have a battle for P8. Vladimir Purev defending from David Slater in the 43 McLaren. Gonna be lots of chasing down. Yeah, that is just disaster on the circuit for so many cars. And it looks like one car is already out of the race. It looks like all of the cars involved in that incident instigated by Brandon Draws are now in pits. Negotiation. Von Kidrowski, George Stevens, disaster for all of these cars. Now stuck in the pits at fault of only one driver. And it looks like other cars are now headed into the pits for a tire swap as the track is cooling down for the very dark night stages here at Suzuka. And with that, Owen and Brioche are able to extend their gap ahead of our current P3 sitter, Alexander Kuzmin. Looks like lots of cars now are looking at a 2 pit stop strategy rather than 1, with the amount of drastic temperature changing, as well as just Suzuka is a very, very hard circuit on the tires. Lots of corners and just lots of opportunity to spin around and mess up as seen earlier, especially wait, hold on, something's not right. Oh, my bad. It looks like the stream needed to catch up. It looks like, yep, we're starting to have some back markers on the circuit now. And even after that massive pileup, we still have 30 of the 31 cars starting the race. Again, lots of displays of resilience from all of these drivers. That's just so bad though. when you have another driver mess up, another driver not being careful rejoining the circuit, and just collecting 5 other cars with them. You could even say it's honestly unfair. And it looks like we have a possible track battle forming for P4. Pico Gallo fighting Michael Syme for P4. McLaren versus Mercedes-Benz. Looks like Gallo's taking the curbs a lot more aggressively than Syme. Trying to make up as much time as possible behind the Merc. Trying to get close enough to make a move. Or possibly a driver depending on another driver to make a mistake. To just say, I'll take that position. Thanks for spinning. I'll gladly take that position from you. Especially in sim racing, you see a lot of that. And it looks like we have a very close battle here for P16. A Ferrari and a BMW fighting for P16. Oh wait, I already said that. But yeah, the BMWs seem to have gotten very close, but now it's fallen way behind. And it looks like we have a stop and go penalty for Lagua. Very unfortunate for him. He was one of the farther up cars the McLaren was, and now he's been collected in an incident that wasn't even his fault. Now he's picked up a 30-second stop and go penalty for speeding in pit lane. In these races, there is just so much that can go wrong, whether it is the own driver's fault or not. Further up the grid, we still have a battle for 7th place. Vladimir Purev still defending against the number 43 of David Slater. Slater coming in close here through these first couple of corners. Through all these bends, looking for an opportunity to make a move. Well, it looks like he might have just slid there a little bit. Lots of gear shifting through these corners, trying to get as much speed through them as possible. And coming through that wide one, a little bit more slip from Slater, about to go into Danger. And he's about to go under the bridge, now losing a lot of time from Vladimir Purev. It looks like Hayden in chat now saying our race is done. Yeah, I try to get the replay for that as best I can. Yeah, it just that yeah. George Stevens was just collected in an incident that was not his fault at all. Not at fault at all. It was just driver error, rejoining the track unsafely and collecting even more cars with them. It's just unfair sometimes when you're collected because someone else isn't paying attention or is just generally driving unsafely. But sometimes you just have those moments, and it's just awful sometimes. David Slater now having a run on Vladimir Purev, trying to get a draft, but still not able to close it in enough. Oh, and it looks like the other McLaren's gone a bit wide, giving Slater a chance to catch. Now he's going to have even more chance here through this series of corners here. Here, lots of cars attacking the curbs through here. Just trying to get the shortest, well, maybe not necessarily shortest, but just the best runs out of every single one of these corners. Getting bored of the helicopter camera. What about you guys? Yeah, it's fighting through all of these corners. Slater doing everything he can to try and catch Purev. Still have an hour and 52 minutes left in the race. It is now in-game time past midnight. This is about the darkest our circuit is going to get. And in due time, the track will begin to light up again, and everything will then be far more visible. It looks like there has just been a possible incident for car number 97, or he's just yielding to back markers. I mean, I do have the mini-map displayed here so that all cars can be viewed at any time, as hard as it can be to read. Oh, and it looks like we have the battle between Gallo and Sim really heating up here through the curbs. Now both of these cars heavily riding the curbs, attacking them, just getting the best run out of every corner. Sim still struggling to find pace on Sim. Still struggling to find a sector where he is faster than the Merc in front, but still staying in it very closely behind. Cars just all over these curbs, man. Yeah, Gallo's gonna try to get the best run through any of these corners. Try to find Michael Sim's weakness, perhaps. In terms of racing, when you're racing your opponents, oftentimes you have to try and analyze them as you're racing behind them. Trying to find where you're stronger than them, where they're weaker than you, and where they're stronger, and I'm just trying to come up with filler words at this point. I'm trying to make this interesting for everybody and keep some form of commentary going the entire time. Kind of struggling to do that. Just at a loss of words for how much is going on the track. It looks like Gallo's once again incredibly close to the Merc. I think the Merc's weakness is that last of the last sector and first of the first sector. Because that's when I'm seeing this McLaren gaining the most time. Now close to being bumper to bumper. Coming through this wide turn. About to go through the Danger corners here. Faster, then slower, and under the bridge. Gallo once again trying to find an overtaking opportunity. 0.2 seconds behind. Staying closely through the hairpin, almost bumper to bumper with this Mercedes-Benz here. Now going to get the draft through this long, wide bend here. The Merc taking a little bit of bumps through this corner. Almost running into the grass there. Coming up on a back marker here. This battle could end prematurely. Although yeah, Hayden, if you're watching this, please get out of the way of the cars behind you. I need something to commentate. Please. And once again, Gallo's falling behind a little bit. Coming through these chicane here. And through the last bend here. And Hayden, get out of the way! They're battling, don't ruin them! Yep, both cars now slipping by. Thank you, Hayden. And the battle is able to continue now. Gallo, 0.2 seconds behind the Merc again. Very close together. The McLaren looking for an overtaking opportunity. Might be through the hairpin this lap. So now the McLaren's lost a little bit of time through those corners. Looks like the overtake is going to happen on a later lap. There's not many other track battles going on at the moment. If we check in with Purev and Slater, it looks like Slater's still trying to chase, but just like Gallo, just isn't able to find the overtaking opportunity. Only able to stay close behind, but never able to finally make the pass. Suzuka, after all, is a very difficult circuit to make any passes on, as it's such a windy course. And there's only really two main stretches. The other ones are just extremely wide bends, which still does make overtaking very hard to do, as if you try to adjust your car's trajectory, you might very much end up clipping some grass and your race ending in disaster as you spin across the track, tires worn, car damaged. And the gap now has increased between Gallo and Sim. Tires certainly wearing out. Oh, and it looks like some moves towards the back are being made. It looks like Stevenella has just made a move on McCutcheon. So yeah, as more of these cars are getting caught up in the back marker mess, well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a mess, except for the one unsafe rejoin that unfortunately collected 5 other cars with it. Yeah, this far it has kind of been a pretty clean race from what I can tell. Most yellow flags just being due to driver error. It looks like we have the Audi of Chico Ledvar trying to catch up to the Bentley sitting P10 right now through the hairpin here. The Audi already making up lots of time compared to the Bentley here. Could be looking at a very, very soon overtake, possibly within the next lap, if not this lap through 130R, coming very close, trying to get the better run out of the corner and take the draft on the Bentley to get by before the sweeping bend. Will he make it by here? It's an ambitious move. He looks at the inside but backs out. Not a safe overtaking opportunity, he concluded. Still staying very close, keeping the pressure on. Bumper to bumper through the chicane and through the last bend. Down the hill. Looks like the Audi might have another look at the inside. The Bentley also trying to move into the inside. Audi making a massive move, braking into the corner, side by side. And the Audi slips by the noticeably much more massive Bentley. The sheer size difference of some of these cars, though, is it's quite interesting to think about because all these cars, at the end of the day, are about the same speed as each other, all with their strengths and weaknesses. But a tiny little Audi still being just as fast as a big boat Bentley, or Boatley as some might dub it. Looks like slightly further back, battling for P12, Wolfgang Kuhn, trying to defend against Tommaso Lanzoni. Both McLarens trying to take that position, well, not from each other. It's also number 10 trying to take the 555 car. I think my commentary's kind of getting... Yeah, my throat really hurts. It's just so much battling going on. I have to try and say as much as I possibly can, and Lanzoni is trying to have a look at Kuhn here. Trying to go on the inside of the spoon. Takes the inside. Looks like bumping into Kuhn. Making the overtake. And he slips by. Now in front, though Kuhn has an opportunity to make this position back, having the draft down the back stretch into 130R. Will he keep the pressure on Lanzoni? Through the sweeping 130R. Heavy braking into the chicane. Both cars looking at trying to get ahead. And down the hill, Kuhn having another chance at the draft run downhill. Though he's just not able to make that up. Further back, it looks like Kiko Gallo once again is directly fighting against the Merc of Michael Syme. My bad. Yeah, fighting Michael Syme here. Very closely for P4 still. The McLaren's going to have a nice run with the draft down the backstretch, although the Merc also has a draft on this back marker, so there's not going to be a massive speed advantage here, but the opportunity is there. The Merc looking at looking for the safest opportunity to get by the Ferrari. The Ferrari running a bit wide to let both cars through, trying their best not to disrupt the P4 battle. And I do have to say, doing a pretty good job of it. Checking back with the Bentley and Audi here, only cars of either their types on circuit, still battling for P10. Looks like the Bentley's had another overtaken, has taken P10 back from the Audi, who now is trying to fight back. Oh, and there's been an incident on track for Justin Hoffman. Let's see the replay here. Looks like some sort of fight. Ah, he's been hit. Hoffman's been hit by the 888 car. Still trying his best to get back up and going. And looks like Hoffman's been collected by a back marker. Very unfortunate. And it looks like 97 also has had an incident, though. It looks like we have another battle on track here. Chris Tedder fighting closely with we have another McLaren battle here. Chris Tedder making up positions after his spin down the pit stretch. Three McLarens very close together here, trying not to collect each other, but trying to collect the position of the cars in front. It looks like Purev and Slater still very close together. We have to give it up to David Slater. He's really trying his best to keep up to Vladimir Purev. He's still keeping up, waiting for Purev to make a mistake to claim that position for his own. Though it looks like none of these McLarens are going to let up anytime soon. And it looks like the Audi has once again made an overtaking move on the Bentley for P10. Real great track battles going on here between all of these cars, the Audi, the Bentley, and these three McLarens. And it looks like O'Sullivan also in the mix in his Lamborghini. Fourth in this train, P9 overall. Still trying to take every position he can get. It looks like after last Sunday, some of these cars are going to attempt a one-stop strategy. Yeah, just a train of cars here. I will certainly be keeping an eye on these battles as other battles occur. The battle for P4 still, Michael Syme and Kiko Gallo fighting fiercely for P4. Gallo still behind, looking very close behind the Merc through the hairpin. Though the Merc's still running away down the stretch, the Merc does seem to be a very, very strong car here. And two Mercs on the circuit right now, being driven by the Stevens Endurance team as well as Michael Syme here. We have about an hour and a half still left in the race, and still quite a ways before we're looking at our pit stop takers. The McLaren still waiting for this Merc to make a mistake. But that Merc, he wants to keep this P4, and he wants to stay in this fight and possibly catch up and wait for one of the three currently podium cars to make a massive mistake and then say, I'll take that position right from you. Still 12-second gap between the podium and the rest of the cars. But the battles are still very much there, and it looks like, if you look back at these battles, it looks like Slater's finally gotten past Purev. And now Purev is defending P8 against Ryan O'Sullivan here in the Lamborghini. If this Lamborghini can get by, he's going to be back. He's going to be right into the fight. Still, all these cars in the top 10, and it looks like we have the Audi in the pits, possibly looking at a two-stopper here. Coming into the... Oh, and there's been an incident on track. I can't see what's going on here. Oh! It looks like... it looks to be the teammate of one of the battling McLarens, David Slater, I believe, in the 43. Oh! And he's been collected! The 51 car and the number 14 of O'Sullivan collected. Now this other McLaren trying to flash, trying to say, you can go ahead of me, my fault. But yeah, that's massive damage for Blauwitz. And it looks like Purev now he's stopped on the side of the track. Lots of incidents all of a sudden happening. Just sprouting onto the circuit. Audi still in the pits here, losing some positions, but coming right back out. Coming out in only P14. So is P15, my bad. Still only losing about 5 positions with a whole pit stop for tires and fuel. And it looks like Syme, the Mercedes-Benz of Michael Syme, is now in the pits, thus concluding the battle between him and Kiko Gallo. It looks like our two-stop strategy drivers are going to be heading into the pits. Oh, and it looks like there's been another spin from the 51 of Daniel Blauwitz after that massive impact. Now heading into the pits, definitely needing to repair and take some fuel. About right on time for a two-stop strategy, but And it looks like now there's another battle. David Slater and Chris Tedder battling it out for P5 here. Number 43 and number 2 cars. Two McLarens battling very closely together. Seems after Slater was finally able to get past Vladimir Purev, he's now propelling himself in the standings P6, so still lots of cars need to take a pit stop. Slater is definitely going to be making a move here. And with both of these McLarens, they're obviously equal machinery, so they're definitely not going to have different strengths and weaknesses. That's all going to depend on the setup. The car overall, it's the same car, so it's just going to be raw racing, no gimmicks. Speaking of gimmicks, as far as the lead car goes, I'm sure Brioche would love for somebody to pull an item box, pull that blue shell and toss it right at Owen Cripps. Wouldn't that be a change in lead? Oh, and it looks like Slater's headed to the pits now. With an hour and a half left to go, it looks like we have cars into the pits looking at a 2 pit stop strategy here. Apologies. Anyway, kind of blanked out there for a second. Looks like we have another battle on track now. It looks like the Audi is fighting a McLaren here, while defending against it as the McLaren tries to attack. Yeah, it looks like the Audi. Oh, it looks like the Audi was just overtaking the McLaren of Cole Mooney after exiting the pits. Now the Audi is looking at making up some positions before other cars dive into the pits. It's like more cars shifting positions as more cars head in and out of the pits. I'm not seeing many battles on track at all. It looks like number 97 though seems to be going pretty slow. Many laps down, but still staying in the race, trying to collect as many points as possible. I'm not really sure why. Oh, and it looks like there's been an incident for Michael Syme. He's gotten the yellow flag. Looks like he's just ran wide on one of the corners and just spun his car out. Making a very quick and safe recovery though. Letting a McLaren pass for being faster, not going to fight it. Though now he's fighting it now that his car is back up and rolling, though. He's getting the flash now from Wolfgang Kuhn. Looks like it could be a fight here now between the 555 and the number 10. No, I mean the number 23, my bad. The number 23 is a Mercedes-Benz, 10's just a McLaren. I'm trying my best to keep talking, making things interesting. I mean, I'm afraid to ask, but I don't know how much it will matter if I go just a little bit off topic. I'm sure that anybody viewing probably doesn't mind a little bit of variation, a little bit of, I don't know, deviation is the word, not variation. Same thing, forget I said anything. Looks like Kuhn now very much falling behind once again compared to Michael Syme here. Coming through these bends here. very strong performance from even a damaged Mercedes-Benz. Have to give it to some of these drivers, even when they do make a mistake and spin around all over the place, they're still able to recover all of those positions and still be in contention for a high finishing place, as there's still many pit stops to be had and many other driver errors to be had as well. As far as track battles go right now, there's really not much going on. Though it looks like Brioche has not let off of Owen, not even a little bit still. He's been within 2 seconds of Owen for a while now, though. I do need to take a quick breather really quick. We're beginning to approach the halfway mark of the race, as the track is definitely getting lighter with an in-game time of 4:30 in the morning. Things are starting to light up, and soon we might see some vehicle headlights starting to shut off as the day stages of the race go underway. And with that, I will have to be right back. Alright, and commentary is back now. It seems there is an incredibly close battle now between Owen Cripps and Ryoshi. Ryoshi now about a second within Owen Cripps here, though seemingly he's just now fallen back behind, but still attempting to keep the pressure on Owen. Very, very few mistakes made from either drivers, still right up there in the battle for first place, almost halfway to the race now. Yeah, currently it is still the only battle on track happening right now, though it looks like Owen went a little bit wide. Ryoshi coming right back within 0.3 seconds, so now he also ran just a little bit wide. All these cars still fighting it out. And now Owen once again. Both drivers slipped up on the same lap, same sector. They get close and then they just split right back up again. It's really interesting to watch some of these battles unfold. Like, one driver might make a mistake and another one becomes too overconfident. And yeah, at times overconfidence can kill your race. Oh, and it looks like they've just gone by a spun out Lamborghini, the P27 car of her son. I'm sorry again if I get any of these names wrong. If that's your teammate and I get it wrong, please do not hesitate to correct me. I will try to get all these names correct. Yeah, out of the 31 cars that began the race, there are now 27 of them left, so that's only 4 cars lost now, approaching 5 minutes until I will, as soon as the halfway mark of the race hits, I think I'm going to deliver a halfway report of just all of these drivers and where they are currently. I don't think I have anything that can pull up where they started though. Oh, no, looking back, it looks like the number 97. Is that 97 or 87? There's so much dirt on the car, the 9 looks like an 8. Yeah, it looks like he's just waited there for a little bit, trying to recollect himself. Waiting for... Oh! He's on the middle of the track. He's almost taking the Bentley out. He's almost taken the Bentley out. Something has gone horribly wrong with the number 97. He might as well just return to garage. That is an incredibly damaged car. He's almost taken out the Bentley, I think it was. I don't know why he's not returning to the pits, but yeah, he's just stuck there on the grass now. It looks like we now, beside them, have a battle unfolding between Kuhn and Hoffman. Hoffman looking to try and make a move on Wolfgang Kuhn. Down the back stretch here, getting the draft on the McLaren. Kuhn trying to protect the inside of 130R here. Coming nice and smooth through the corner. Though, oh, and the Ferrari tries to make a move through the chicane, but Wolfgang Kuhn makes a defending move and stays ahead. Very nice defending move. But now the Ferrari once again has a run. McLaren trying to defend, but just not able to hold it. And he backs out, giving the Ferrari the position coming through these difficult corners. And it looks like another incident on track. A. Kuzmin looks like he must have spun and is now diving into the pits. Given the timing, it looks like he could be going for a two-stop strategy here, though that could get shaken up by the incident just now. Might have to be an entire fuel load and a lot of fuel saving to make it to the end of the race now, approaching the halfway point. And it looks like the battle between Cripps and Brioche is still unfolding. Why do I keep using the same words over and over? It's getting a little bit boring. I mean, yeah, now at this point, Brioche and Cripps are so close, a blue shell might take them both out. Oh, and Cripps is, just as I say that, Cripps is onto the grass, but manages to keep the car steady. I mean, very closely behind him is Brioche, through the spoon curve, and down the back stretch. The white Ferrari getting the run on the, I believe it's a livery of the, I'm not sure if it's in this context Ukraine or is it Sweden? Yeah, it's Sweden. It's one of the two. But besides that, Cripps is still heavily defending that lead position from Brioche. But the white Ferrari is still getting every draft on the lead car. Trying to make a move. Though the Ferrari still stays behind the other Ferrari coming up on the back marker here. Further back though, it looks like a McLaren fighting nose to back. Oh, and the McLaren's making a move on the Bentley down the inside of the hairpin. And the move is complete. Lenzoni passes Hughes for P6. Bentley is not going to give it up that easily though. He's still going to have try to get a run on the inside of the spoon though. Gives it up, runs just a little bit wide. Not the run he was hoping for. Still hoping to get a run down the back stretch though. It's a lot of curb to be taking. Now back at the hairpin, Cripps and Brioche once again. Fierce battle for first place. Now halfway into the race, it looks like there's been an incident on track. The number 27 Lamborghini now. Looks like it's just been a spin, almost collecting a Ferrari with them. Barely avoiding contact there. And then he gets going again. Looks like further back again. More battles unfolding. It looks like Ryan O'Sullivan's not fighting for this position. But I will definitely tell you who is. It's the number 995 Ferrari fighting the number 19 McLaren and the number 51 McLaren for 21st place. As now Alexander Kuzmin, I believe, in that green Lamborghini. Now all three of these fighting cars are going to have to make way. It looks like one car has been on the grass and the McLaren runs wide, letting the number 51 car nice and comfortably by. Though impeding, trying to keep pace, not having to slow down too much for that Lamborghini, but yeah, he has to yield to the blue flags anyway. It's going to be a mess through 130R. Though still leaves just enough space for the Lamborghini to squeeze by through the chicane. While the battle still oh, it's contact between the and it's disaster for Yeshon and Rodriguez. Now this Ferrari is struggling to make it back. Oh, just another collection for all of those cars. One car trying to get past back markers, cars making contact. Just unfortunate that's how the battle ends. Alright, and still the lead battle rages on. Both of these cars now. It looks like both these Ferraris are running a longer stint to go for a shorter second stint. Neither cars have pitted, definitely going for a one-stopper. Along with some of these other cars, a Bentley, 2 McLarens, and it looks like Ryan O'Sullivan now is currently sitting P4s, also going for a one-stop strategy. And it seems currently possibly to be working out quite well for him if he can just keep the momentum going forward. Despite a damaged car, he's still going very strong. If he was the only car going for a one-stopper, he could very well be getting that cake he so badly wants. But it looks like it will not be this race, as other cars, or 2 lead cars, and P3 also running for a one-stop strategy. Oh, and it looks like a spin for the number 23 Mercedes-Benz. It looks like he took just a little bit too much. Oh, maybe not. Maybe, oh! Coming out of those corners, he's just spun himself out, taking a little bit of rear damage there. Now Kiko Gallo diving into the pits. And still, Owen Cripps and Giorgio Brioschi still fighting for first place here. Looks like there's so many pit stops happening now. It's not a very good time to do a mid-race report. Oh, and it looks like there's a brief yellow flag. Well, what's happened here? Let's see. They were collected and about the same position too. It looks like he's just spun himself out. It looks like the yellow flags together were just a coincidence, unfortunately. My bad. Going back to the battle here, Brioschi is once again falling back behind Cripps. 2 Ferraris fighting for the lead with Ryan O'Sullivan. He's a whole minute behind. Ryan O'Sullivan still needing to pit, sitting P3, and an entire minute behind the other car, behind the 2 lead cars. And here comes Alexander Kuzmin looking at unlapping himself. Having already taken a pit stop, he's going to need to unlap himself here. Oh, and it looks like more cars are definitely diving into the pits as I'm seeing more shifts in position on my grid here. Looks like the Lamborghini wide, and O'Sullivan is going into the pits. Giving up on trying to defend an unlapper. But about a good time to be taking a pit stop too, because it's now past halfway through the race. Now 1 load of fuel should get all of these drivers to the end of the race on 1 set of tires, as long as something doesn't go horribly wrong for any of them. Though just given the nature of Suzuka, it could very much happen. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any other battles on track anymore. Halfway through the race, there's just so much gaps now. There's so many gaps now that it's really difficult to commentate on these battles. And Brioche is into the pits now. Oh, I think he might have just picked up a speeding in pit lane. We'll have to see in just a moment, but that could be a race ender for Brioche, at least for podium, for any chance of podium position. That could be the end for Brioche. Looks like Ryan O'Sullivan now is out of the pits on a one-stop pit strategy, now behind Chris Tedder, East Payne, Kiko Gallo, and Thielen Sony, as the sector queuing catches itself back up. That should be visible on this board of places right here now that it's updated. Yep, O'Sullivan in the 14 is now behind number 2, 43, 444, 10, 144, and Cripps in number 3, leading the race. On it looks like the Bentley here has picked up a stop and go 30. Real unfortunate for him. That's just what happens when you mess up your pit lane entry either. Oh, looks like he did activate the pit limiter and slow down just in time, because he's out of the pits now nice and cleanly and shouldn't have to dive back in shouldn't have to dive back in again the whole race, as it has proven that you can last over an hour without pitting. I've done it, I'm sure most every Assetto Corsa Competizione driver has done it. Certainly it is hard on the tires and also questionable on the fuel, but it definitely can be done. And in this, it's still an endurance race, but in this short of one, you can still do a one-stopper and be fine. And our race leader, Owen Cripps, is in the pits now. We'll be looking at trying to get out of the pits ahead of... who was it again? I'm lost. And it looks like the 144 has drivers swapped, and Cripps is also going to driver's swap, I believe. We might see here. I'm tempted to pull my race control over onto this tab to show the live timing between Cripps and Lelio. But if we look at Lelio here, he's coming through the last corners with the leaders still in pits. Lelio might be in the lead though Cripps is now out of the pits. And yep, a driver's swap has happened, and now Tippy Boss takes over the reins of the number 3 Ferrari, currently in the lead, now having to defend off the also driver swapped Ferrari in P2, Massimo Lelio. And Lelio still is an entire minute behind. No, not a whole minute. That's way too much, but 10 seconds now behind Tippy Boss. I need water. Yeah, Lelio now is 10 seconds behind Tippy Boss. So all he has to do now is not get collected by any back markers, make no mistakes, and it could be a race win for Tippy and Cripps. And it looks like we have a new fastest lap of the race, a whopping 2 minutes, .3. Though, I might be mistaken here. I'm not sure if it's a new fastest lap, but Alexander Kuzmin in the 998 Lamborghini currently holds the fastest lap, a whopping 2 minutes, 2.3. Well, 2:00.3 lap. Almost into the 159 on race pace. Which I have to say is very impressive pace on race fuel and just race strategy in general. And now out of the top 10 cars, the only one left that needs to pit is Tommaso Lanzoni in the number 10 McLaren, who's probably going to do so very soon here, possibly this lap. Heavy braking into the chicane. Very heavy braking. And no, he stays out. He's gonna have to pit sooner than later for sure, and it looks like a battle's unfolding between a McLaren and a Bentley here. Tom Winch and Daniel Tutta. It looks like Winch after serving the stop and go penalty, though I'm not sure if it was cleared or not. And it looks like he gives the position up through the chicane, but still holding it out very strong, still sitting P12 after a speeding pit lane penalty. I'll have to say that is pretty impressive. If you serve that massive of a penalty and you're still racing near the top 10. If we look at our current standings, it looks like, oh man, it goes only to 23. I guess that's sad for our friend Hayden here. Whenever I'm on the lead car, he's not going to be visible. But as long as we know he exists, so an hour left in. Oh, it looks like we've had an incident. The number 27 Lamborghini. It looks like just taking 130R too hard and massive front side damage to that Lamborghini. Oh, and it looks like we have a battle here, possibly 1 second apart. The number 888 Ferrari with massive damage trying to defend its position from the number 93 BMW, and it looks like another incident on track. Likely another massive impact, though. Oh, his car just must be incredibly damaged. If you look there, there's just massive front damage. The car's probably not even drivable at this point, as far as the race pace goes, so not close in front of him is Adam Anderson defending P13 from Juan Martins, driving the BMW M4. I think this is the only BMW in the race. As far as car variety goes, there's not a ton going on though. Speaking of variety, the only Audi in the session has apparently disconnected from the server. I guess his race is over, and could be why that the Bentley here, driven by Tom Winch, is currently sitting P12 because of disconnects from other drivers in front. Revisiting our battle here, Anderson and Martins. Martins, though, just now has set his personal fastest lap of the session at 2:02.9. Still fighting for P13, getting faster laps than previous. Looking back at our lead cars, number 3 driven by Tippy Boss and 144 driven by Lelio. Lelio's slowly but surely gaining time on the lead car. Now about 8 seconds behind the lead car, which is definitely a net gain since the last time I checked. So it could be an all-out battle for the lead towards the end of the race. Looks like further up there's a train of cars, but some battling going on between this Payne and the 43 car. Team Alba 43. Oh! Oh, and Chris Tedder's hit the pit wall! He spun right into it. Now, trying to desperately rush back into pit lane. That is a massive impact. Oh! That is the absolute worst spot to make that massive of an impact. I think he's just going to retire the car now. Just a race gone wrong right there. Giving Beast Payne an easy P5. And as soon as Lanzoni dives into the pits, which should be any second now, Payne is going to be in P4. It looks like we have more battles going on here. Battles starting to pile up. The Bentley starting to fall behind to the cars behind, battling for P13. And this battle for 13th is about to turn into a battle for 12. As Anderson's making time on the Bentley, about to make a move on it. I can feel the racing here. Just to feel it. You know he wants to make a move as soon as possible and get by the very, very big Bentley. Going back to our helicam, we can see the noticeable train of cars forming as one car gets stuck behind another. It looks like the number 242 McLaren's picked up a penalty, possibly for track limits. Because, yeah, if you're not careful, if you run wide in a 130R too many times, you're going to definitely pick up a track limits violation. Yeah, that Ferrari 888, I can feel it. He wants to make a move. Coming down into the first corners, still staying behind the Bentley, just waiting for the best overtaking opportunity to show itself. It looks like behind this three-way battle is the Lamborghini of Ryan O'Sullivan, giving all of these other cars a blue flag. Yeah, there are not a lot of cars now on the lead lap at this point. And it looks like Tippy Boss is still maintaining an 8-second... Oh, and there's been an incident! A spin by the Bentley! Was that contact? Was there contact? Well, let's get a closer look really quick at that. At least try to. Yeah, the 888's just hit the Bentley off the track. Yeah, he just continues on his way. Bad incident there. Bad for the Bentley. Not even his fault. Just through the heat of the moment, the cars collide. Yeah, that is the last thing you want as a driver, is to be fighting and then you just get hit by the car behind. It's just the last thing you want to happen in your race. Yeah, that's a battle ended prematurely, not in the way any driver would have wanted. I can't really tell about any other battles happening on track, but yeah, we still have... It looks like our the amount of cars in the race now has now shrunk down to 23 now, is now hopping aboard the last car on the grid, Hayden Sweet. on the Steam's Endurance team. Unfortunately, an earlier incident has brought him back so far, pretty much ending his race, the team's race, but still pushing forward. So, like, big congratulations to the team for just still pushing forward, not giving up. Because any points is good points, even if it's only 1, 2, 3. A point is a point, and overall, it does. It just shows your resilience as a driver. Honestly, it shows your resilience as a driver. Oh, and it looks like the number 254 Lambo's had an incident and is struggling to get back onto the track, looking for the safest opportunity to do so, but yeah, it looks like just a bad spin into the hairpin there. Yeah, the number 254 is another car that was collected by the unsafe rejoin. Yeah, and again, more cars just doing their absolute best to stay in the game and just push through the pain. Yeah, some of TOGA's drivers, especially a lot more of the long timers, are just able to keep it together and just keep their head in the game no matter what happens to them. Hopping back aboard our lead car of Tippy Boss, still remaining 8 seconds ahead of Massimo Lelio in P2. It's going to take a massive mistake. I think Tippy has the pace in him to win the race for his team. Yeah, Massimo Lelio is also trying his best, staying in it, trying to catch Tippy, but yeah, both cars are about equal on pace, both setting laps of right around the low 2 minutes flat. 2:06, 2:09, well, 2:006 and 2:009, of course. Yeah, they're about equal, they're staying about equal on pace, so catching up is definitely proving to be a task. But we still have 49 minutes left in the race, and now that a lot of our pit stop my bad. Honestly, I don't even really need to pull this up because enough cars have left this session now that pulling that thing up won't even be necessary to view every driver. Oh, and it looks like Fizz Payne, car number 43, now in the pits. Looks like he's going to be giving up that podium battle for a two-stop strategy. And speaking of two-stop strategy, it's approaching that 40-minute mark left in the race, so we're going to be seeing a lot of cars on a two-pit stop strategy starting to dive into the pits. And that's going to shake up a lot of these battles for certain. Yeah, and as mentioned earlier, there are 23 cars left of the 31 that started, so that's 8 cars gone so far, which is just over a quarter of the grid gone now. Real disappointing, to be honest, because you have all these packed grids. In the first round of Spa, there were over 40 cars starting the race. And this time around, only 31 cars started, and even less are finishing the race. And yeah, that can be due to a number of factors, whether a driver on their own might get too tired, or a race has just gone so wrong that it's not worth it to keep going sometimes. It looks like Tommaso Lanzoni, for a very, very late pit stop now, has finally gone in for his first and only pit stop, trying to go for the undercut. Now in the pit box, he's definitely going to want to get going ASAP as the gaps between... I'm predicting that he is going to come out in P6, just behind Kuzmin in the Lamborghini. Possibly in front, though Kuzmin won't be that much farther behind, and will definitely be fighting for P5 against Lanzoni. Still in the pits, Kuzmin approaching the chicane at the end of the circuit. Cutting it real sharp there, going for the fastest exit possible, and number 10 McLaren is now out of the pits, though. Oh, the yellow flag popped up. I got worried for a second, but yeah, now it seems he looks to have drivers swapped, and now the driver in the car is Leonardo Ferroni. Oh, and it looks like a car has just spun right in front of my eyes. The Lamborghini of Von Kidrowski, once again. Definitely on old tires at this point. So many spins now. Sliding all over the track. Just trying to keep it together, but just not able to do much about it. It looks like there is a very close battle now. Three-way. Nicholas Urbantat being closely followed by Daniel Tuda and Adam Anderson, all fighting for P11 here. Oh, and the blue McLaren really reacts there and kind of just gives place up to... Oh, and they're very close, bumper to bumper, less than 0.1 second apart into 130R. Very risky down that back stretch. Very risky move, but just not able to make that overtake back through 130R, and now has to fight back for that position, while still being chased by the Ferrari of Adam Anderson. Revisiting our two lead cars of the race really quick. Tippy is now gaining time against Lelio, now 9 seconds ahead, according to my live timing sheet here. 9 seconds ahead, though. Now it's back down to 8.5. Ah, it's really fluctuating a lot. I cannot keep up with that, honestly. Just so much shifting going on. Yeah, now this battle's turned into a battle for P10, as a four-way battle for P10 now, as Juan Martins has, I guess, recently left the pits, or something's happened, and now he's right in between this battle for P10. So now this orange McLaren of Daniel Tuda is really just running away with that position. Now in P11, the BMW of Juan Martins trying to defend against these other two cars. Biting, groping, trying to pass for P11, and catch right back up to that orange McLaren. It looks like, thinking of Mercedes-Benz, there was another one that was quite fast, but he's also left the session. Yeah, now the only Mercedes-Benz left is that being driven by George Stevens currently. Massive battle between this McLaren and BMW here, though. 193 and 194. Coming down the back stretch. No, that's a pit stretch. The stretch. It's a stretch, so obviously the McLaren's going for a draft. BMW tries to close the window, but barely isn't able to do so and gives the position over to the McLaren, now having to yield to... Is that a back... No, that... Yeah, that's a faster car now. Now that BMW is going to need to yield to blue flags here any second now. Though at the safest possible opportunity, because these S's both... It's dangerous. It's definitely dangerous. I'm tripping up on my words. Yeah, it's dangerous to yield to a blue flag there, both for the passer and the back marker. And yeah, also with Adam Anderson right there, he's also looking for the best. And the McLaren's run wide now. Now has to clear both of these back markers once again, though. Adam Anderson makes a move on the BMW of Juan Martins and now takes P11 for himself. Wait, did I say that right? Okay, I'm definitely confused here. Yeah, Adam Anderson. Why was I thinking of a McLaren? I was probably thinking McLaren because of that back marker. No, not back marker. Faster car. There has to be a proper term for it, right? Oh, there's been massive contact between the 888 and the faster car. I still can't get the right term there. But yeah, massive impact there. I don't even think I need a replay. Just play that back on the stream. That was a massive impact. And now that just lets the BMW of Juan Martins just run right off with P12 here. Just runs right off with it, as the 888 is unfortunately collected by a faster car. Oh, I'm just struggling to keep up with my words here. I'm starting to... My throat is gonna hurt for the next day or so. Trying to commentate for this long all on my own. Yeah, now it looks like Adam Anderson, after that massive impact, now is looking at recovering as many places as he can. He does not look happy at all. Not at this McLaren he's trying to pass, but just in general, just trying to pass it. After that impact, losing those positions, definitely frustrating. Because not at all is it the fault of the 888. He just got unfortunately taken out and now has to recover positions on his own. Oh, and that McLaren looks like he took a lot of curb there. The number 104 driven by Simone Guarini. I'm so sorry about that. I should probably mute more often whenever I need to clear, because yeah, I'm starting to... My throat's really blocking up as all these fights continue to unfold. Looking back at the lead cars again, Tippy Boss now 10 seconds ahead of Lelio's number 144 Ferrari. Keeping that car ahead. It looks like it could be a race win for the Angfor's team. Although if you ask me, I hate to be joking here on a race commentary, but it is actually currently the leader of the race, Tippy Boss. It is his birthday today, and I believe he has turned 49. Grandpa Tippy Boss, everybody wish him a happy birthday, please. Call him a grandpa because I told you so. Call him a grandpa. Call Tippy Boss a grandpa. Turning 49, leading this race. 10 seconds ahead of second place, increasing that gap. I don't know why I'm still on this car. There's not really much fighting going on for the position. Oh, I lied. There's actually a fight here between possible fight between the number 27 here and right behind the number 19 McLaren for P19. But as coaches have said before, and just in general, it's like, what is it like? I'm going crazy right now. Yeah, I have been told. What have I been told? What am I rambling on about? I have been told that every position matters. Every point matters. Even if it's not a massive team sport like cross-country running is, where the point system is per team of 7 runners, and the least amount of... Yeah, trying to explain cross-country running point system is quite confusing, honestly. Trying to talk about all these things while watching this race go down, but forget about my rambling. It looks like there's been an incident for the 888 car. It looks like another spin for the 254 Lamborghini of Von Kidrowski. Oh, and it's a massive spin, but from the Lamborghini just now fighting. How have I missed that? My ramblings are causing me to miss everything. Oh, it looks like he's just spun out on his own while trying to defend that position. Real unfortunate there. Now trying to get himself back going. Oh, and it's another incident for the 888. Waiting for the opportunity to safely join the track, not to ruin anybody's race. Danny McCutcheon. Still, all these cars trying to keep it going and strong. Currently P17. But again, as I was going on about, Martins is being followed by the number 104 McLaren, currently for position 12. Less than a second back, but still quite a ways to go before an attacking move can be made. Already he's seemingly getting closer through that chicane. And he's going into the pits. Simone Guarini into the pits now. Going for... Looks like has to serve. Oh, I see. He's serving a drive-through penalty. Or possibly going in for a pit stop. But yeah, he has a drive-through to serve, so he can't pit if he wants the drive-through to be complete. But you already knew that, I think. Yeah, now with yeah, and that's the drive-through served, and the 104 McLaren comes out of the pits for P12, giving the 327 Bentley position 11, still 20 seconds behind P10, but still in it to fight for every position he can get. With about 30 minutes left in the race, I think most cars now would have pitted now, because all the time has passed for a one-stop pit strategy as well as the last pit stop of a 2-pit strategy. So with 30 minutes left to go, the only reason I can see that a car would need to go into the pits is if they've underfueled the car and need to fuel it just a little bit to make it to the end of the race. going back to our lead cars, Tippy Boss and Massimo Lelio, still about 8 seconds behind though. Now the gap is decreasing once again though. That can definitely be in part due to back markers. And yep, Lelio is let pass by a very polite Von Kidrowski. Not looking at ruining anybody's race, just still keeping it strong for himself. And it looks like another car is disconnected. More cars have disconnected. We've lost 10 cars of the 31 that started now, with 21 cars left in the race. Yeah, just 20 cars now left in the race. It looks like Lelio ran a little wide there. Could be getting a warning for track limits. Yeah, you really have to be careful through 130R there. Because if you mess that up... oh my goodness. Yeah, if you go wide at... I mean, yeah, 130R is I'd say 130R is Imola levels of track limits as far as Assetto Corsa Competizione is concerned. Because that's the only place, I think that, and what was the corner name again? Danger, which is corners right before going under the bridge. The two right before going under the bridge is the Danger corners. And yeah, that first one of two is where you can easily pick up a track limits warning if you're not careful. Yeah, there's not very... Yeah, right here, if you take that too sharp, you'll either get your car killed or you'll pick up a track limits warning. Where was I? Yeah, looks like now Massimo Lelio is starting to catch back up to Tippy Boss, as both tires now are definitely going to be showing tire wear. Lelio's more than Tippy Boss's, because Tippy's car went for a pit after Lelio's, so Lelio's tires are a couple laps older than Tippy's. But yeah, Lelio still seems to be making some ground, though still struggling to reel Tippy in. It still could be a win for the Angfor's team, currently still sitting in the lead. Well, I guess this team name is VX300. So yeah, VX300 is still sitting P2 the entire race. There's not really any other battles going on right now. Danny McCutcheon's in for a pit stop, possibly. Well, there's nothing to be looked at as far as pit stops go, because there is no pit crew to watch do their work. Kind of unfortunate, because sometimes it's kind of fun. It adds, in real racing, it kind of adds to the sort of adrenaline when you're watching the pit crews work as quick as they can to get the cars in and out of the pits as quickly as they possibly can, as to lose the least amount of time there. And it looks like now, watching from Tippy's point of view, Lelio is not very far behind now, with just a 7-second gap between the two Ferraris in front. Oh, if you listen closely there, it looks like the tires of Tippy Boss's Ferrari are really squealing through the spoon corners there. Seemingly struggling for grip, as those tires are getting older. at the same rate as Lelio's tires, so maybe even quicker if he's pushing the tires too hard. Oh, and he's made a spin. Tippy is spun out. Oh, that's going to be a massive loss for Tom, and the leader of the race has changed to Lelio, Massimo Lelio, new leader of the race, going into lap 58. That is not the way Tippy wanted it to end. That is not how Tippy wants it to go. Oh, not good at all. Now he has to depend on Lelio to make a mistake, or just rely on sheer pace in the last 26 minutes of the race. Yeah, even this 144 car too now is struggling for grip. There's a running joke within the TOGA Motorsport space. There's definitely a running joke going around that whenever a commentator starts watching Tippy, he spins out or gets taken out. And I think I might be projecting that. I might as well be continuing the tradition. Oh, and there's been another spin on track. Gerardo Rodriguez in 19th just had a spin. I mean, what do you think? Should I keep watching Tippy? Or should I give up on him and go back to Lelio and see if the supposed commentator's curse goes to other cars? Oh, and it's a spin for the 555 car. The car was being driven by Wolfgang Kuhn, switching it over, driver swapping in Sonny Holzman. Still keeping it strong, no loss of position on that spin, I do not believe. Though yeah, tires are going to start struggling, especially on a one-stop strategy. And yeah, now the name of the game is keeping the car together, though. It looks like Tippy once again is making moves, trying to keep the car together. Now, once again, catching back up to Massimo Lelio for the lead position. This far into the race, and it's a battle for first still. Both cars on a one-stop strategy. Tippy now within 1 second of the Ferrari, with a blue McLaren right behind him, attempting to unlap himself, waiting for an opportunity to do so, to not ruin anybody's race, of course. But still, very stressful situation for both these two frontmost cars in the race. McLaren might try to unlap here, giving Tippy a disadvantage on the lead car now. Struggling for grip, both of these Ferraris. It's going to be a fierce battle coming into the closing stages of the 2-hour and 24-minute race. It looks like further back there's another battle between two McLarens, Cole Mooney and Daniel Tudda for P8. Tudda making a move around the outside of Drenger corners, almost very close to each other. And it's who was that? It was Cole Mooney. He's had a terrible. Let's watch a replay there. It looks like a tap. Though the 24 McLaren there definitely still keeping the car together. That's ought to be a penalty for 242 for not giving the place back, just running off with that position. Yeah, unfortunately the race is post-race stewarding, so we're not going to see any penalties being applied for that, but it's definitely going to be a penalty for the 242 McLaren. Yeah, that is definitely something that I have not been considering this whole time, because the race is not live stewarded. After the race, the positions that you see on the race are definitely not going to be the same positions as 2 days from now, once the stewards work through all of the penalty reports. Very unfortunate for the 24 car though, having lost now about 5 seconds, now 6 seconds after the tap through Danger. I keep saying Dranger, it's Danger. Like, gosh dang it. Man, that was a perfect opportunity for a horrible pun. It's like you get hit through Danger, and it's like, ah, dang it. And it looks like the Bentley now. The Bentley is stopped on the side of the track, facing the wrong direction. Now in P13, having to let lots of cars by, including a back marker. Yeah, definite props for keeping the circuit safe, even as cars are spinning around. Props to all of these drivers who continue to respect the races of other drivers and not getting into the way, rejoining the circuit as safely as possible. Yeah, now looking back at the grid now, there's only 20 cars left of the 31 that started. We've lost an entire third of the grid now. So definitely not how the numbers should be going, honestly. Chat message from Andy Swagton. Hey man, just wanted to help you with the name Dagner. I seriously read that? Oh my goodness. Okay, that is a massive facepalm moment by me. Dagner. Come on, man. Every corner name I get wrong. That's just gonna be customary now. Like, no matter what is happening on the track, suddenly I'm going to be trying to say a corner name correctly. Awkward if you ask me, but I mean, it's not my fault. I'm the one who, well, it is my fault. What am I saying? It is my fault. I'm the one choosing to read chat and then take the advice and say the name correctly. Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. Yeah, it looks like as far as the lead car goes, it looks like he is increasing the gap between himself and Tippy Boss. And yeah, with only 18 minutes of the race left, there's not going to be much time for Tippy to regain that ground. I think I need to take another quick breather really quick. My throat is hurting once again. I will be right back in just about, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes? 2 minutes, and I'll go ahead and just stay on the lead car as this other blue McLaren tries to unlap himself and Tippy tries to catch. Commentary will resume very shortly. Oh man, I sure hope I didn't miss much. Anyway, commentary is resuming. I have completed my 2-stop pit strategy. And it looks like revisiting the front 2 runners this race. It looks like Tippy once again is trying to make up time following the spin. Now that there's a lot less back markers to deal with, yeah, Tippy's coming right back within 2 seconds of Lelio. I think Tippy could be looking at a battle for first right here at the end of the race. Oh, and it looks like George Stevens has managed to gain a position back following a disaster of a race. It looks like the Ferrari of Gerardo Rodriguez is just having a bad race as well, as he's collected a drive-through and then a stop and go as well. Very, very brutal. Oh! Now Tippy's within a second of Lelio. What have I missed? It looks like Lelio's made a mistake bad enough that now Tippy's come right back. Is now trying to make a move on, looking through the outside. Coming down the back stretch. He's gonna have a look. Might have a look at the inside of 130R here. Look at the inside, backing out of it. Trying to stay back, but still stay close at the same time. Now, oh, and the 144 has gone wide. I've seen now multiple times Lelio's gone very wide at that chicane there. Now Tippy's having a look, coming to the outside of the first bend, first corner, something like that. Having a look at the outside, riding those curbs really aggressively. Staying close to Lelio. 11 minutes left in the race. Making massive grounds. Looking for the best opportunity to make a move here. My goodness, this is one good cinnamon roll. Yeah, Tippy's still following very closely. Looking at making a possible move through the hairpin. No, he backs out of it, though. He gets a sharper end of the hairpin than Lelio, still staying behind. Getting the draft on him through this wide bend here, just before the spoon curve. And in goes both of the Ferraris. Tippy trying to get a good exit. Now, another run down the backstretch before 130R. Still having the draft on the white Ferrari in front. Aggressive on the curves, both Ferraris. Heavy braking into the chicane. Both cars making it pretty nicely through. Tippy losing just a little bit of time. Still maintaining the close draft, but now 0.5 seconds behind. And now it looks there is only 19 cars left in the race. As it looks like Rodriguez is not coming out of the pits anytime soon. Tippy 0.2 seconds behind through these S's. I'm pretty sure it's called the Snake, actually, looking at the track map. Yep. Another series of corners is the Snake, followed by anti-bank curved, and just clearing Dunlop into Degner. And under the bridge, both vehicles, both Ferraris. Tippy trying to get a look through the hairpin, struggling to find a space, but still fighting very hard. 0.4 seconds behind. 0.3 seconds now. And once again, looking at getting the best exit into the back stretch. Now the in-game time is coming back into evening. Headlight time is coming back. Oh, that part of the cinnamon roll was very, very sweet. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Tippy now closer after the chicane. Once again, trying to get a run on that white Ferrari. And both of these lead Ferraris very clearly struggling for pace. Both of them setting lap times of 2 minutes and 4 seconds now, with the cars behind, Gallo and O'Sullivan, with lap times still 2:02, 2:03, and both of these lead cars struggling to get 2:04. Very heavy racing between both cars. Massive tire wear between them both, and if both of them go out, both of them end up spinning themselves on tires this old by almost an hour now, if not more than that. Coming through Degner, Tippy staying very close. Lelio running a little wide, Tippy very close, looking at the outside of the hairpin. Taking the outside, Lelio staying in. Tippy going wide through that hairpin, still behind Lelio, trying to get draft. Still 6.5 minutes left in the race. Still a couple more laps, couple more opportunities for Tippy to make it past, or for Lelio to mess up, or vice versa. If that's even the right terminology. Yay. Yeah, listening closely, you really can hear it. You really can hear the squealing of the tires on these Ferraris. Both of these Ferraris tires, all of them just squealing as they both fight hard against each other. Tippy very close, coming through the chicane, right behind Lelio. Inches from the bumpers of each car. Tippy now having an amazing opportunity for a run down the pit stretch into the first corner. Tippy's still staying behind, still taking that draft. It's coming into that bend and starting to go into the snake curves, clearing the first corner. Tippy staying behind, trying to keep the car together, same with Lelio. Both of them just trying to find their way through these corners. Very stressful for both drivers. Tippy now falling behind, a whole second behind Lelio, struggling for grip. But that doesn't go without saying. Lelio cannot get too overconfident, because one mess up could cost him first place. I think Tippy might still be close enough in for getting a at least decent draft, though. It's not going to be much, especially through this kind of bend. Going to the spoon curves. Headlights on for Tippy. Endurance headlights on. Oh, and it's a yellow flag for the Bentley. Now beached on the side there, waiting for all these other cars to pass by. It's not going to be much of a shift in position unless the Bentley can't get going. Still P12, but still an entire 20 seconds ahead of P13. But still struggling to get the car back up and going again. And Tippy, once again, is within a minute, within a second, I mean, within a single second of Lelio. 0.3, once again looking at making a move. Both drivers feeling the pressure, trying not to crumble underneath it. Both of these guys have got to be feeling massive pressure right now. Both Ferraris once again through the snake. Now coming through Dunlop comes both Ferraris. Tippy a little bit wider than he wants to be. Struggling for grip through that corner. Losing time once again. Coming through Degner now. Both Ferraris. Tippy looking at getting a gain of time again. 0.6 now. Almost at the end of the race. 2 hours, 24 minutes. And still, two cars fighting for the lead. Flag to flag. This is just incredible racing by both cars here. Tippy once again looking at getting a good run through the spoon, coming down through the back stretch. Lots of curb. Getting a better exit out of the corner, I believe, than Lelio. Not gaining much time at all, however. Now Tippy a whole second behind as both of these Ferraris come through the chicane. Tippy once again gaining quite a bit. Oh, and right, this is going to be the last lap.
Give it a final push.
It's final lap for Tippy Boss. I mean, final lap of the race for Massimo Lelio. It's on the final lap. This car in second place, less than a second behind. Looking at now making the attack. It's now or never for Tippy Boss. Lelio, keep it together. Final lap, lap 70, 2 hours, 24 minutes. Can feel the pressure. You can feel the pressure on both of these drivers. Tippy, once again, gaining time through Degner. Gaining time through Degner. Now, 144, desperately trying to flash the BMW in front aside. Still less than a second apart. Lots of flashing. Both of these drivers feeling the pressure with the back marker right in front of them. Right in front of this battle. Now Tippy, does he have the run? Is he gonna get the run through 130 yard? It's very hard as the 144 still has to draft on this back marker, though Tippy's getting closer. Oh, and there's been an incident on track, it seems. Right through the... Oh, it looks like a change in position just before the final lap of the McLarens in 9th and 10th. And Tippy is not able to make it. Tippy could not make it. And that's across the line.
The leader has
for Massimo Lelio and Tippy Boss across the line. The gap at the end of the race, 0.5 after 2 hours and 24 minutes. coming back to some other cars. We have our P9. Lots of cars now coming across the line. Alright. And it looks like in a fair move, 194 gives a place back to 104 after causing a collision, giving the place back. Might not see a penalty there after that. Now George Stevens closely behind these McLarens and this Mercedes-Benz. On their final lap, all of them, both of them. Oh, it looks like there's been a tap there between Stevens and that blue McLaren, though. At this point, that won't even matter, though. Yeah, now 194 is not going to be able to have a battle for P9. Might just have to settle for P10 there. Yep, the last of the cars coming across the line. David Slater coming P6 for Team Alba, number 43. Next being Nirosha Yeshan coming in P14, giving the flashers across the line. Oh, and there's been a spin. The 104 spun out on the final corner on the last lap. No, he's run out of fuel. Has he run out of fuel? I think he has. Oh, after that fight, now. No, there's still cars. No, he's the last one across the line, actually. My bad. Simone Guerini in P, like, 10 now. Yeah, P10. Simone Guerini. Just rolling the McLaren across the line very slowly. He starts the race with a working engine and ends the race in a soapbox car. What a race! And by the end, the top two cars less than a second apart across the line. What a race. Oh my goodness. And that's with 18 cars crossing the finish line out of 31. And with that, I think it's time. The stream is soon to come to a close. And I think we still have audio here, so I think if we just shut my game down, and I will hop into the interview box and see if anybody would like to have an interview. So with that, gonna hop into the commentator box and see if anybody comes into the interview room. Go ahead and give it a couple of minutes, maybe just a few, but I will give it a few minutes. While I enjoy this cinnamon roll. Finally. Give it another minute. Oh, and it looks like we have somebody. Hello.
Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello. How are you doing?
I'm alright. Yourself? How'd that race go for you?
It was a little bit tricky, but I was able to manage changing the map between 2 and 1. It was 1 for the main straight and 2 from that up to the mid of the second sector, and then 1 again. So with that
So lots
theory,
of fuel map changing then?
oh, a lot. The
And
whole
this
race.
was for, I'm guessing, a one-stop pit strategy?
Yeah, 1 bit stop. That's right. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
is that on the tires? I think I heard so much squealing of tires just the entire race. Everybody struggling for grip. What are your thoughts about that?
To be honest, I was struggling on the after the pit stop because it was day light and the pressure were the same as the when I started. So I was getting like a 27.8.
Oh.
It was crazy sleepy in some of the fast corners, but then I intentionally went out of the grass to lose some psi, and I was able to get something around 27.50, and then the temperature was started going down, and I was able to finish the raid hopefully. And yeah, it was not that sleepy. Yesterday we did an endurance race in Solder. It was a Spanish championship, 8 hours. And we had to do things around 74 minutes with map 2. So I was okay with the tires, to be honest.
Huh?
It was okay.
I guess that makes
The the,
sense
the,
then.
uh, the map number 2 for the climbing first sector of the curves of the corners was making not so sleepy, to be honest.
Where did you finish by the end of the race?
It was
You were third?
third, yeah. I think I started 6 or 5, and I was able to recover some position with the strategy. Yeah,
I'd say that's a pretty good finishing position then, considering. I mean, there was that red flag, but after that, I think the race went pretty smoothly.
yeah. It was perfect. It was at the beginning. It was very very frenetic because the Lambo and the other guy was doing some touching, and it didn't end very well in the first corner. I was able to continue with another McLaren, but yeah, the red flag should be triggered for that scenario. So the second stop was very good, was very clean, and there was no accident, and the whole race was very good. I have to apologize for one of the lapped drivers. I touched him because I thought he was about to let me pass in that very very narrow corner. I was looking behind me, and he was able to, and he managed to recover quick, and he didn't lose too many time. But my apology for that guy.
Yeah, I mean, on such a tight course like Suzuka, trying to understand what a back marker might do. I mean, even if a back marker is trying to be as predictable as possible, Suzuka is just one of those circuits where it's very hard to get by one.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that's
It's like
definitely gonna show come
it's
the
yeah,
multi-class race in a couple days. But yeah, overall
yeah.
great race for by everybody, honestly.
It was very good. It was very beautiful and fun for me. It was very, this this format of race I haven't played never, and I'm very 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 happy, and it's very fun.
Yeah, just the shifting day cycle.
Yeah, the shift in day cycle, and you have to because I have one question: is it mandatory just one pit stop and that's
Um,
it, or you can do more than one?
you can do more than one pit stop. It's just so
Oh,
one pit stop
okay,
is required.
okay. Because I was so confused because there was some guy and Because I think he stopped, but he didn't stop properly, or he didn't put change the tires, because the same number one as required mandatory pit stop was still remaining on the screen. So I was a little bit confused. Okay, I take it. There's been some open strategies available for everyone. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Very good.
I think that's all the time I have. Now I have to do a couple things myself and get the stream wrapped up. So thank you for coming in and having a chat, and yeah, good race.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the organization, and have a good one, guys. Bye bye. Cheers.
And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream right here. Thank you everybody for watching, and see you later.